After determining the possible location of the RPD in this crater shot, we move on to the second part of our analysis of the destroyed Raccoon City in Resident Evil Requiem. Today, we'll be analyzing the possible location of the hospital from the Resident Evil 9 demo. Is this asylum located in Raccoon City or maybe in his outskirts? And where is the Rhodes Hill neighborhood where the clinic is presumably located? For today's analysis, we'll use various subway maps from Resident Evil Outbreak, Resident Evil Outbreak 2, as well as some data from Resident Evil The Umbrella Chronicles to aid our analysis. And of course, we'll touch some small information from Resident Evil 3 Remake. My name is Scyris Nova and welcome to my second part of a big breakdown of Raccoon City in Resident Evil Requiem. So let's start by figuring out where exactly the Raccoon City district called Rhodes Hill is located. What is Rhodes Hill and why is it so important? Do you remember the gameplay from the demo where Grace is hiding from a big mama in some hospital? Well, that hospital is located in Rhodes Hill, because according to the notice board, it is called Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center. I mean, this is 100% confirmed information as we see this screenshot from the game itself. And as we know from Resident Evil Outbreak and Outbreak File number 2, as well as Resident Evil The Umbrella Chronicles, Rhodes Hill is one of the official districts of Raccoon City. For example, in Outbreak File number 2, in the subway level, there is a signboard listing several stations, and one of the names mentioned there is Rhodes Hill. Some people believe this district is on the outskirts of the city, which in their opinion explains why the hospital we explore in the demo is still relatively intact. Others assumed Rhodes Hill is somewhere in the upper part of Raccoon City near the Arklay Forest. Some even think Rhodes Hill is actually located outside the city limits, like in some nearby settlement or a small town like Delucia where Brett Vickers was officially born. And yes, I've even seen theories that this hospital is 50 to 100 kilometers away from Raccoon City. But in reality, again, assuming Capcom didn't throw their own canon out the window, which honestly after Kumazawa's recent interview is getting hard to believe, Rhodes Hill and the hospital, or if we can put it other way, Chronic Care Center, are located in the southern part of Raccoon City. I came to this conclusion very easily based on Resident Evil Outbreak File number 2, specifically the subway mission, and also Resident Evil The Umbrella Chronicles. First of all, Rhodes Hill Station is located on the first subway line of Raccoon City. In Outbreak 2, we are shown this line number 1, but it's easy to prove there were more than one line in the city. If you look closely at the subway map, it's clear that there are multiple lines, even though the map is extremely blurry. Secondly, inside the subway itself, the station list shows which stations belong to which lines. In this case, Old Court, South Raccoon Street, and Warren Stadium/Rhodes Hill all belong to line number 1. But if we look at the subway map in Resident Evil 3 Remake, we see at least 4 lines, which is, of course, not surprising. Taking the stations from Outbreak 1 and 2 and Umbrella Chronicles, we get this list. Line number 1, South Raccoon Street Station. Unknown line, Main Street Station. It's not marked as line 1, but possibly intersects with it. And New Lock Square Station, Old Court Station, Warren Stadium Station, Rhodes Hill Station, and Raccoon University Platform are all on the line number 1. Now, which of these stations can we find on the expanded fan-made map of Raccoon City? Attention, this map is not official. It was used by me only for visualization. Don't take it seriously. We need this map just to visualize where it probably can be located. So, let's start with the easy ones. Warren Stadium is located near the actual stadium, and Raccoon University Platform is obviously near the university. These locations also appear on the official maps, which is fantastic. We can prove this. We can also locate South Raccoon Street Station. If you remember, in Resident Evil Outbreak File number 2, there is a cutscene where survivors run down South Raccoon Street and enter the subway entrance. We also know that the survivors who escaped JC Bar walked down South Raccoon Street in search of a shelter. Logically, the station should be in the southern part of Raccoon City. But where exactly? Let's take a look at JC Bar and the events shown in the Umbrella Chronicles. Jill and Carlos walk from JC Bar to South Street Station on foot. And by the way, I'm not entirely sure if this sequence is canon, but for the sake of analysis, let's treat it as factual. Because Capcom in Resident Evil The Umbrella Chronicles showed us at least that Jill and Carlos can walk from this bar to the station on foot, without any vehicle. On the fan map, JC Bar is marked as number 17, right here in this red circle, and South Raccoon Street Station is marked down here at the very bottom of the map. And it's also canonical because South Raccoon Street is located in Resident Evil Outbreak File number 2. Considering all these facts, we can assume the subway entrance should be somewhere around this red oval. The exact coordinates are yet impossible to know. From the station signs in the subway, we understand that South Raccoon Street is a through station, meaning from there you can reach Warren Stadium and Rhodes Hill, or Old Court and New Lock Square. Using this data, plus the evidence before, we can roughly reconstruct the layout of line number 1, at least from Rhodes Hill Station to Raccoon University platform. Based on the directional signs, Warren Stadium and Rhodes Hill stations are to the left, Old Court and New Lock Square are to the right, and the university platform is further right, near the university. Putting this together, we get the following small schematic. This leads us to the conclusion that Rhodes Hill, based on city scale, station spacing, and also the crater shot, is located behind the skyscrapers highlighted in this red oval. That's also where Warren Stadium is presumably found. And more importantly, that's where many buildings survived the blast, which might explain why the hospital is still almost intact. Although honestly, it's still pretty strange for me that a blast powerful enough to create such a massive crater didn't flatten everything in that area. Again, I'm not taking into account several factors that we discussed before, such as the possibility of multiple craters caused by multiple missiles, the question of which canon Resident Evil Requiem follows, or whether the game merges the events of the originals and the remakes. Physically, I can't include these unknowns in the analysis because we simply do not have enough information. Even if I'm slightly off in determining the exact location of Rhodes Hill, the one thing we can say with confidence is that Rhodes Hill is in the southern part of Raccoon City, based on the canonical station names and references from past games. Rhodes Hill Station cannot be located in the north or outside the city, because the spacing between stations would be completely unrealistic for a major city. That's simply not how subway systems work. Just imagine, we have here South Raccoon Street Station, okay, then we have here Warren Stadium Station, and right there in the north, we have Rhodes Hill Station. It just doesn't make any logical sense. Another strong piece of evidence that Line 1 is located in the southern part of the city comes from the subway map in Resident Evil 3 Remake. Let's take a look at line number 1 from the remake, not to be confused with the Outbreak subway line we were just analyzing. That segment starts at Redstone Street Station, then passes through Raccoon Central Station and Market Street, with Stonewall as its final stop. Another line begins at Faust Avenue, goes past the city center, and leads to St. Michael's Clock Tower and Fox Park. Even using the remake's data, we can clearly see that line number 1 is associated with the lower part of Raccoon City. That's why I don't think that it can be somehow located in another part of Raccoon City. So my analysis might not be perfect, but it's very close to what logically fits the known canon. What do you think, guys? Are there any other topographical clues or screenshot details that could help pinpoint the exact location of Rhodes Hill and the hospital? Share your thoughts in the comments, maybe you've already spotted something interesting. And believe it or not, even this doesn't conclude my breakdown. In the next and final part of the Raccoon City analysis, we will talk about the Wrenwood Hotel, the place where Grace Ashcroft was kidnapped, and we'll try to determine where this hotel might be located. That's all for today. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next analysis related to Resident Evil Requiem. My name is Scyris Nova, and thank you for watching the second part of my deep dive of the destroyed Raccoon City in Resident Evil Requiem.